Okay, you should have just done PSSA Power 47. Now you're going to make corrections. Make sure you leave yourself any notes on this side or the other side so you don't get them wrong tomorrow when it counts. So let me start by enlarging this first one. Data analysis. What are the first and third quartiles of the data below? Well, first thing, as you can see, I put all the numbers in least to greatest order. Now you got to remember what the first and third quartile are. Remember, we label those as Q1 and Q3. If I split the data in half right here, the first quartile is the middle of the lower half of the data. So that is Q1. The third quartile is the middle of the upper half of the data. So that is Q3. That means the first and third quartile are 14 and 19, which is A. Okay, let's go over to the second one. What is the area of the figure below? Now these, I think, are really tricky. We'll be doing this later on in the year, but we're trying to get you started now so it won't be as bad then. So here's what you got to do. You got to split this weird shape into a few shapes that you recognize, because we don't have a formula for this shape. It's just a weird irregular shape, like an L. So we're going to split it into two spots. So you have two options. One is you can split it here and find the area of rectangle 1, find the area of rectangle 2, and add those together. Option 2 is you can split it in half right here and find the area of rectangle 1, the area of rectangle 2, add them together for the total. So you can do it both ways, but you just kind of have to look for the way that is a little bit easier. So for example, I'm going to go with this way just because for me, for this rectangle here, I can see I have both dimensions, the length and the width. So that's why I'm going with this one. So let me start. I'm going to highlight this rectangle red. And I'm going to highlight rectangle B blue. So for rectangle A, I have the whole 14 and the whole 6. And if I do 14 times 6 on the calculator, I get 84. So I always write the area of the individual shape inside because it makes it a little bit easier to see. Now for rectangle 2 in blue, let me get this ready here. I'm going to find the area of this, but now this is where it gets tricky because I do have this length here, which is 6, but I am not given this width. And now a lot of people want to use the 10, but remember the 10 is this whole length on the bottom. So what I have to do is figure out what just the blue section is. So watch how I do this. If I look up at the top, I see my 6. That means from here to here is also 6. So if this whole thing here is 10, oops, meant to use the highlighter. If this whole thing is 10, I have to take that 6 away from 10. And if I take that 6 away from 10, I'm left with 4. Because if you think 6 plus 4 is 10. So the bottom of the red rectangle is 6, the bottom of the blue rectangle must be 4. So now that I know this is 4 and this is 6, I can multiply those and get 24. So the red rectangle has an area of 84. The blue rectangle has an area of 24. If I add those together, I get 108 square inches, which is C. We'll be doing these for a while, so you'll get used to them, but they are tricky. All right, let's go down to the third one. Unit rates. At Walmart, you can buy 8 oranges for $5.52. At this rate, what is the unit price? So I'm going to start by writing my rate as a fraction. And remember, always put money first. So it's $5.52 for 8 oranges. We have to find the unit price, which means the price of 1 orange. So we need to figure out what 1 orange cost. Now to do that, I know 8 divided by 8 will get me 1. So then I just have to do $5.52 divided by 8. Once you do that, you'll get your answer, and you'll see that 1 orange cost 69 cents, which is A. If you didn't have that right, make sure you fix it. Last one, fractions, decimals, and percents. So this says, Mrs. Berge brought in a box of 60 candies for the 6th grade teachers. If Mr. Romanishin ate 80% of the candies, true story by the way, how many candies did Mr. Romanishin eat? So here's what you're basically figuring out. You are figuring out what 80% of 60 is. Now if you remember, of means times, so you have a couple ways you can figure this out. One is you can type 80% on your calculator, but you have to be able to get that percent sign and do times 60. Now remember, to get the percent sign, you have to hit the second button up in the top left corner, and then I believe it's the left parentheses. Above the left parentheses, you'll see the percent button. So if you get 80% times 60, you'll get your answer. Now let's say you don't have a percent sign. Then you can always change your percent to a decimal by moving your decimal twice to the left. So if you type in 0.8 times 60, you'll get the same thing, and that is the correct answer of D, 48 candies. So remember what percent of a number means. It means times. Hopefully you made all your corrections and you will be ready to go. Thanks.